I'm going to introduce the aggregation, like the word. I'm going to start. You know, we've played together, and, well, not together, but we played in many bands throughout New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Philadelphia, and all over the place, over the world. This is the first time we've been together as a unit. Give these musicians a wonderful round of applause. Yeah. We're going to start with the oldest member of the group, Miss Lucianna Padmore. Lucianna is a Bronx native. Yeah. She has been praised by Modern Drummer magazine for deep grooves and serious fusion chops, as you can hear. Lucianna's versatile drumming is featured with artists in the jazz, hip-hop, funk, rock, pop, and fusion genres. An alumnus of LaGuardia High School for Music and the Performing Arts and the New York School University and the New School University. She has received awards from Jazz at Lincoln Center and BMI for her jazz improvisation. Lucianna has worked with artists Mimi Jones, Akiko Saruga, and so on, so on, so on, and Bertha Hope. I met Lucianna with Bertha. She has almost female group. Bertha and Lucianna and Kim Clark and myself and trumpeter Riley Mullins. Okay, we play Elma Hope music. Believe me, it's very, very challenging. And so that's Lucianna. Give her a round of applause. Next, we have Mr. Beldon Bullock. Beldon is a New Jerseyite, or New Jerseyan, originally from Boston, Massachusetts. He's a graduate of Berklee College of Music, which is in Boston, and he's traveled the world and toured with many artists. He played with everybody.
Exactly.
Roy Haynes, George Adams, Ahmad Jamal, Alva Lake, Andrew Hill, Abdullah Ibrahim, Grady Tate, and many, many, many others. And tonight he's playing with me. How about a hand for Beldon Bullock? And last but not least, Miss Bertha Hope. Bertha. I found out a lot about Bertha. I met Bertha with the Wade Barnes Ensemble. And we had many rehearsals and gigs. One time we played in New Orleans, and she was rooming with a vocalist that just passed to leave her down the Cumberbatch. And we were in this big mansion. I was upstairs and they were downstairs on the first floor, but they had a grand piano. So I heard this piano tinkling. I went downstairs, we played together all afternoon. So Bertha, as I said, she used to listen to Clifford Brown, Max Roach Clifford Brown Quintet. They used to rehearse in the garage of, was it Eric Dolphy? She used to go to school with Eric Dolphy. And she's been around a lot of the jazz giants. She's a giant herself. And her piano teacher is the one who played the introduction on the Joy Spring. We happen to have the same birthday. That's Richie Powell, who's Bud Powell's brother. Bertha hails from Los Angeles. And she first was hired by her father to play church concerts. Before moving to New York, she married Elmo Hope, collaborated on music projects with him in New York. Worked for New Jersey State Council of the Arts with Dizzy Gillespie, Philly Joe Jones, Frank Foster. Formed all women's ensemble Jazzberry Jam in the 70s in Europe. She's mentored by Philly Joe Jones and encouraged to form a band to expose Elmo's compositions with Walter Booker, Junior Cook, Eddie Henderson, and Leroy Williams. She has 4 CDs available, and Meeting Jones is completing the documentary on Bertha's life story. How about that? Yeah. Look out for that. She's appeared in many places, and I'd just like to say, you check out some Black history, her father, you can tell her.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. My father was actually a dramatic baritone during the era of Marion Anderson, Paul Robeson, and Roland Hayes. And so he traveled all over the British Empire. So wherever there was a British colony, my father was part of the band that traveled there, so literally all over the world. And then when he settled in Los Angeles, he got into movies. And so he's one of the early pioneers when movies were not very kind to Black people. But he had several really wonderful roles, and one was recognized by James Baldwin in the movie I Am Not Your Negro. So my father had been brought into the 21st century with a little piece in there where James Baldwin explains that my father, Clinton Rhodes, when he showed real terror, what real terror was like, and not that buckeye, stereotypical terror that the movies propagated. So he was really a fine actor that was a second career. So if you see the movie I'm Not Your Negro, or if you Google my father, you'll be able to see several movies that he was credited for in some instances, and some instances not. But the ones that most of my generation remember, he was in Green Pastures, Cabin in the Sky, Stormy Weather. Clinton Rosen, you can Google him.
That's Bertha Hope, y'all. Bertha Hope. Yeah. I'm going to introduce myself later. Please stay for a second. My name is Eugene Leroy Ghee. I'm when you call me Dean, but I was born here in Newark, St. Barnabas Hospital, raised in Baxter Terrace projects, and moved to East Orange. And a lot of my friends, we used to get together and do the doo-wop. And one of the songs we used to sing was Just the Kind of People in the World. And ironically, my wife's brother wrote that song, Little Anthony and Periods.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of my beginnings were singing, and singing the church choir when I was in the children's choir, then the junior choir, then the adult choir, and I directed it. My father was a member of the choir, and my mother was very supportive. And I had a sister that played piano. She'd take me to little churches, and she used to play. And she'd take me to clubs. She would babysit me and take me to the club, Now, I'm not going to say that I played with a lot of different people. I feel very blessed. I feel very blessed to have played with a lot of the giants and have hung out with them. Some very, very interesting people. When you check out some jazz musicians, oh my goodness. Now, I just like to say, my father took me, one time I was going through his record collection. I started on clarinet in the 4th grade, East Orange public school system. And I started playing clarinet because I heard Benny Goodman. So I played clarinet, I took that up. And then I was going through my father's records in the summer of my freshman year. And I played Gene Ammons. Oh my goodness. I would play the record over and over again, boss tenor, and then I would read the liner notes, written by Mr. Miri Baraka, who taught me how to write just by reading his liner notes. And we became very good friends after that, later on in my life. So Gene Ammons was my man, so I took up tenor. I learned all the scales in 1 week and everything. But I tell you, when I went to the jam session, older musicians, I tried to ask them about improvisation. They said, man, learn your scales. That was it. That was it. And the first person I ever played with at a jam session was Mr. Larry Young. He was very, very encouraging. Remember Larry Young?
Yep.
Larry Young and Willie Shaw and them, Buddy Terry. So I heard that Sonny Stitt was playing in town on Brantford Place, a place called the Club Lido. And they said he was the greatest saxophone player in the world. I said, no, he's not. Gene Ammons is. Gene Ammons. So I went there, sat in the front. He came in late, and he had just gotten out of bed. So I'm sitting there. Yeah, he can't play. Boy, he came out of a tune. I sat there, my mouth open. Switched from alto to tenor saxophone and back. Then I met him. He asked me how many keys on the saxophone, all this stuff. But the thing about it, we go fast forward. That was my beginning. I was 14 years old. And he invited me to his hotel. He showed me some things. I had just started playing. But fast forward, and I moved to Brooklyn. He was down the street at the Blue Coronet. I went there one year and sat in. Everybody in New York sat in with him that year. He's still imbibing in his thing, But the next year, I went there and sat in. I played a whole set with Sonny Stitt. And he sat there and gave me the thumbs up. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. Then I took him back to his hotel. We talked about Charlie Parker, Dusty Young, Coleman Hawkins, all the cats. He influenced a lot of people, including John Coltrane, Dexter Gordon. There's an interview with me done by Marshall McDonald, who used to play with Count Basie's band. It's on YouTube. So you can look for that, and I talk about my relationship with John Coltrane. So we're going to play one more tune and take a little break, you know. And this is called, matter of fact, John Coltrane recorded this with Tad Dameron. And it's called On a Misty Night.
beautiful, right? Good. Give him one more hand. You did. We're going to take a break, and then we'll be back in about 20 minutes, so hopefully hang around and have some fun with us. And we do have water this week. Thanks for being here, by the way. Wayne is stuck in LA at a small airport. Can't get out because it's raining here. You saw what rain we had here, so that's like nothing compared to it. But luckily, nobody's on a plane in here. All right, talk to you later. Be back in plane.
Oh, that's what that is. I thought it was a. I was like, what kind of device?